Hey besties, let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Did this fight on the plane actually happen? Because I just find it hard to believe that Meredith was able to cut up that much on a Delta flight for however long she cut up for. The flight was 5 hours. I'm just finding it hard to believe that no one on that flight was recording her. No one has came forward to say yes, they was on that flight and yes, it happened. I find it very hard to believe that not one air marshal, police, nurse, doctor, the pilot, the co-pilot, the flight attendant, nobody has anything to say. No one said anything. No one stopped Meredith. You know, Portia had a forth and back again with a Karen on her flight from Vegas to Atlanta on Delta, and the FBI met her as soon as she got off the flight. You talk about privilege, child. Welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It is season 6, episode 11, Ladies Who Lunch, the sequel. And I hope this is the sequel because I'm tired of hearing about On the Plane. On the plane, on the plane, on the plane, on the plane. I'm tired of hearing about the plane. We need to move forward. But besties, how would you rate this week's episode? Um, it was so, right? Like the only points was the beginning that went on for a long time. And then we got a lot of filler stuff going on in the middle of the episode, and then we got the apology at the end. Eh, eh, eh. Anyway, please, I invite you to drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought. And besties, do me a solid. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and it is 9:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have worked like a dog the last 3 days. I have gone grocery shopping. I am marinating. I am getting it together. And I stopped to do this recap before I call it a night. Please like the video, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and make sure your notification bell is on so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now, honey, let's get into it, honey. So, church is over, and what do we like to do after church? Yup, go eat, go eat. So, Mary planned an elegant lunch for the ladies after church, and it was more like an intervention for Meredith. And everyone tells Meredith that they enjoyed her church service. Now, Mary tells the ladies that she did not invite Brittany because, duh, she's not there, right? And she did not invite Brittany because of what Brittany said to her on the yacht. Remember, she told Mary that she was not Christ-like. I'm just paraphrasing. You can go watch it. You don't have to correct me. We're paraphrasing, okay? So she pretty much told Mary that Mary was not being Christ-like and she was like the worst Christian she ever met, something like that. So Mary had to call her to tell her that's why she's not inviting her. And Brittany was like, well, you know, in that moment, you know, that's how I felt, but I do apologize. And so Mary was like, she didn't expect her to just kind of, okay, I apologize, you know. And so Mary still didn't invite her to come to the church or to lunch. She left it up for her dog to decide, and her dog did not lift his paw up. He just lay flat on the floor, and Brittany did not get invited. Now, let me stop right here. So, Mary, you're a pastor. Am I right? Or is your husband the pastor? Anyway, you're still not acting Christ-like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are leading the church, all this and all that. You call her to be honest and tell her why you're not inviting her. She apologizes and you still didn't invite her. You're still not being Christ-like. Um, but then again, Brittany should not have been there because they really needed to get to the bottom of this and talk to Meredith without Brittany being there. So yeah, they needed this little intervention first. So now, since Brittany did apologize to Mary, well, Mary feels like Meredith and Lisa can apologize to Brittany, right? So Heather's like, did y'all hear her? Did you hear what Mary just said? Like she said, what are you offended by? Like, what you popping off for, Heather? And it's like, what do you mean? What is she popping off for? She's offended too. She planned this trip on a super yacht with her friend Captain Jason, and y'all got on that yacht and acted a pure fool every time it was time to eat. Y'all fussing, fighting back and forth, throwing stuff off the ship, doing whatever it is. What do you mean? What is she offended by? This was Heather's trip. And honey, did y'all hear that? I guess that's Below Deck or whatever that show is. They are going to film uh the Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're gonna tell their side of the story of what happened. Okay. So yeah, so Heather's like, well, I planned this trip and it ended with Brittany sobbing. Lisa doesn't agree and she says she will not be held responsible. Okay. And I mean, she's guilty by association, but technically she ain't done nothing. This is not about her. This is between Brittany and Meredith. Okay. So Meredith was like, well, I was just reacting. And you was doing what? No, no, now, Meredith. And so Lisa's like, my friend was beyond upset. And it was like, yeah. So Meredith is like, well, it wasn't the right time or the right place. And so it was like, uh, Heather gonna say, oh, it was more than just that. Like, you was off the chain. And Meredith just don't feel no ways tired about how they are reacting to how she reacted. She just sitting there like, whatever. So Whitney's like, girl, you were taunting Brittany and calling her names. And I was in earshot. I heard everything. So Meredith is like, no, she had on headphones. She couldn't have heard me. She was watching a movie or something. Meredith thought she was so safe because she really was betting that Brittany could not hear her. Meredith, you have a vocal fry. You talk on. But they said you was hollering, screaming. She did have on headphones. She probably was watching a movie, listening to music, a podcast, a content creator, behind the shade. But you're on top of her. You're right behind her with that loud vocal fry. She heard you, sweetie. Two things can be true at the same time. She had her headphones on, probably was trying to relax, and heard everything came out your mouth. You're sitting right behind her, crazy. So Whitney's like, ooh, Meredith was so diabolical on that flight. And so they're all giving their part, saying little stuff about how she was just acting up for 5 whole hours. Meredith in her confessional said it was only about 30 minutes. And, she keeps saying, I was venting to my friend. I was venting to my friend. And like I said, where was the air marshals? Where was the FBI when they got off the flight? Where was the pilot, the co-pilot, the flight attendants, the people nearby? Where was the people who always on their phone and decided to record. Like that's what I'm figuring by now somebody should have come forward. That's why this kind of seems like a lie because nobody saw nothing or heard nothing. And remember, Angie said she was like 5 rows in front of them and heard all this. Child. And no one filmed it. So Meredith is like, I watched 2 movies. I went to sleep. It was not 5 hours. And so they was like, okay, so what movie did you watch? Which 2 movies did you watch? She was like, well, one was Crazy Rich Asians, and I don't remember the other one. And so they like, so what happened at the end of the movie? That was Angie asking. She's like, I don't know. You don't know? No, you don't. Yeah, no, because so here go Heather. Something big happened at the end. You have to remember because something very big happened. So Lisa told what happened at the end. And so production was checking the things that she got right and the things she got wrong. So pretty much Lisa saw the movie. So Heather, not Heather, Meredith says, you know what? I didn't even see all that. I fell asleep because I didn't even make it to the end of the show of the movie. And so Whitney says, well, were you sleep talking? Because I was up the whole flight and I heard you the entire flight. Ciao. Ciao. I love that Whitney. I love that Whitney. Oh, she gets me going, child. She was like, well, was you sleep talking? Because I was up and so were you the whole flight. Whitney stands on that. You was fussing and acting a fool for the whole 5 hours. At least Heather said it would get quiet for a little bit and then she would start back. And then it would be, the volume would like go up on Meredith. Hold on. Ooh, that water felt good. So that's what Angie says. I was 5 rows ahead of you, and I heard you. You were screaming. You lost it, Meredith. Heather was like, do you and Lisa, Meredith, do y'all feel bad for hurting Brittany's feelings? She's like, yeah, but she hurt my feelings too. And we don't like each other. And we know that from last year when Brittany got caught recording them. You can leave. You are vile. And she said, we don't need to be friends. Now, besties, let's stop right here. Let me take a breather, okay? Remember what Brittany said. She sat at that table and just sprayed her about her marriage and said that, oh boy, is cheating, got a side piece. They was in the Uber out in Columbus because that's where Seth be working at. Oh yeah, when you be up here, he be with her. Come on now. Brittany was out of pocket for that. And Brittany is very grateful that she didn't get stomped. Because if I was Meredith, I would have nuck and bucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you talking about my marriage? Some things are just, girl, and just how she just threw it out there like it wasn't nothing. This is my life. This is my husband, my kid's father. You know what I'm saying? Like, you play. See, you can't be just saying, talking out the side of your neck, and then you get mad about how people react to it. So let's start the story from the beginning. Nobody's addressing what Brittany said and how awful that was. That was awful. Okay. Whew. Brahman is like, well, you know what? Feeling bad is different than being sorry. Are you sorry that you hurt this girl's feelings? And so Meredith is like, I'm sorry that she heard me venting and it hurt her. And I'm just like, Meredith, what is this safe apology about? It seems so like fake. It seems fake. Um, it seems like something you would say in a corporate setting. Like you're not saying too much emotionally. You're just trying to clean up things safely. It sounds safe and not sincere and not authentic. Um, I'm sorry that you heard me venting and it hurt you. You're not really apologizing. So, yeah, Meredith thought she was safe because she thought because Brittany had on headphones that it was safe. Girl, you're sitting behind her. And it ain't like you heard what she was listening to. So if you can't hear noise coming out of her headphones, it's probably safe to say that she can hear her surroundings as well as whatever she's listening to. And you are hollering. So baby, that trumps everything. You're sitting right behind her. So um so so Meredith is like, well, I'm entitled to my feelings. And they're like, we're not saying you're not. But Heather said, but Heather, wait, take that back. Heather's like, you lost the right to cry when you harassed her on the plane. Mouths drop, bestie. Meredith is sitting there like with her mouth open, dumbfounded. White woman lost her privilege. What is she to do? She doesn't know how to feel. Karen has lost. Do you feel like a black woman now, Meredith? Because Portia lost all her rights when she got off that plane and that FBI said, ma'am, can you step over here? And thank goodness she had those two bystanders that was there to witness that nothing happened. Because, honey, that white lady was throwing Portia under the bus, under the plane, under the car, under the train. Okay. So Mary is at the table. She's like, more champagne. Thank you. Keep pouring. Yes, thank you. Because this is getting deep. And so they're like, yeah, you don't get your privilege because you bullied Brittany. You told us to take notes while you and Lisa got off the plane. You are in the wrong. That was Heather talking to Meredith. Meredith says, stop speaking to me. Since I can't talk, don't talk to me. At least it's like, it's okay for you to be upset. And she's like, thank you, friend. So it's like, okay. So Mary is like, so Lisa, if I treated you like Meredith did Brittany, would that be okay? Because you know she can do it, besties. You know Mary has no problem talking to you crazy, okay? Oh, and guess what? Just for little something, something. The place that they're at, that's the same place where Mary met with Whitney when she called Whitney little girl. That's the same restaurant. I just got the word. Not somebody told me that earlier. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so where was I? Meredith. Okay, so Heather cuts in and she's like, she says something, and then she asks Lisa, why didn't you go through customs with us? Because we had to carry, Brittany off the plane to get her to customs. She was just falling apart. Her hair was wet. She was just crying so bad. The girl's crying into her hair. So here go Lisa with this global entry like, oh, because I had global entry, but I didn't realize I had it. I didn't know I had it. I didn't realize it. It wasn't on my ticket, and I didn't have the app for it, but I had it. I just should have went that way, and I didn't. And when Whitney clocked it, because sweetheart, global entry is not something that will show up on your ticket. It's not in an app. Okay. Global entry is an entity of something where you have to fill out a form, an application, make an appointment, pay, go to the airport to have this interview, and you get the global entry, and it lasts for 5 years. Lisa, you're lying. And it's very clear. So they was like, well, you had on headphones or something, something, something. And so her response was, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar. And Mary thought that was so funny. Kendrick, and Lisa was like, yeah, I'm a Kendrick girl. And I was like, girl, me too, Lisa. Me too, girl. What's your favorite song? So Mary says she couldn't imagine sitting in Lisa's shoes, sitting next to Meredith while she in a rage. And so, she tells Meredith, we're not attacking you. We love you. We support you. I just want you to, we just checking in. Meredith is like, well, I don't feel supported. I didn't feel supported then. I don't feel supported now. Heather rolls her eyes. She is done and over it. So Mary and Angie tell her that they did support her. Uh-huh. So here, so Heather and Meredith, they go back and forth and back again, right? Because Meredith told Heather if she picks Brittany over her, they're done. And Heather's like, I don't want to feel like that. Some people just want to be on the right side of righteousness. Forget that. And this is what's happening right now, Meredith. Your friends are checking you. They're checking in and they're trying to check you. They're letting you know your behavior was wrong and what's wrong with you. They're noticing that you're off. Something is wrong. Meredith is like, no, I didn't say that you had to pick. I just said it was noted. Okay, Lisa confirms that Meredith did say that to Heather. You did say she had to pick. I'm like, not Lisa jumping ship. Not Lisa don't want to be on Meredith's side no more. She's like, well, Meredith, no, Lisa is folding on Meredith right before our eyes. And so Meredith is like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You did. Lisa's like, you did. You said it. So Andrew's like, Meredith, your story is so different. And Heather, Mary's, and Whitney's is the same. And she was like, when your friends are trying to tell you something, why don't you listen? It seems like maybe you don't remember. Meredith is like, I do remember. I do. I told you. I got on a plane. I vented to my friend. I watched 2 movies and I went to sleep. Lisa's like, let's stop playing the game of Clue and say what you want to say. Say it. Say, hey, they didn't like your behavior. They didn't like your behavior, Meredith. I said, okay, now Lisa trying to check Meredith. Okay, Lisa, I see you, boo. Okay. Y'all know I ain't my boo, but I'm liking her for this. So Mary's like, exactly. And you not remembering concerns me. And it's like, Meredith, Mary has a son that concerns her. She knows the signs. She can see what's happening. She's dealing with it in her own home. Whitney knows the signs too because of her father. Yes. So you can't just keep lying to these people. Some of these people are dealing with this in their own household, in their own family. And they say you mixing and matching. So Meredith is like, I do remember. I vented to Lisa. I went to sleep and I watched a movie or two. Okay, girl. Then she says to Whitney, and I know what you said behind my back. I said, oh no. So Whitney's like, wait, I said how I felt about the situation. What you talking about? Because I only talked to one person. Why was production the camera on Bronwyn? She's like, all these talk to one person. And so Whitney looks at Bronwyn like, you got something to say? So here go Bronwyn, the one who is forever. Oh, Bronwyn. Always is the mess. Always talking. Always going behind people's back. Want to be liked by everybody. Abandonment issues. Pick me. It's just like messy. Messy, messy, messy. So she's like, well, I'll talk if Meredith doesn't. No, girl, tell us. Meredith already, she ain't talking because her privilege been taken. Go off, Bronwyn. Come on, snitch. Can't be loyal to nobody. So she said, after I had lunch with you, Whitney, I talked to Meredith and I wanted to hear her side of the story. And so she tells Meredith, they said you were drinking a lot heavily, at the airport lounge on the flight, and you don't remember. Drinking and don't remember. Whitney's like, you know what? Let me make it plain. Because this is what from what I saw, you either have a heart. She said, you either have hatred in your heart or you have anger problems. I don't have anger problems. Or you're mixing substances. Uh-huh. And some people on the internet are agreeing. They said she mixes substances. They said Mary's mouth, Meredith, sorry, not you, Mary. They said Meredith's mouth reminds them of people who pop pills. And if she's drinking with that, that's why she can't remember nothing. And then you know she hard of hearing, right? Remember she wear hearing aids, y'all? So maybe that's why she hollering and screaming. Maybe that's why she hard and screaming. Because you ever her hearing aids in. Meredith, where are your hearing aids? So, child. Whoo, Brahman says she's tried to be supportive of Meredith. She said, but it seems like you were wrong on the plane. And and now thanks to you, I've damaged my relationship with Whitney. Meredith said, no, no, no. Because I had gave Whitney a chance to tell on herself, and she didn't take that chance. And I didn't say who said nothing, and I didn't say what she said. So don't do me. Okay. Mary wants Meredith to admit she's wrong, and Meredith won't. And child, that's the end of that. It took 26 minutes to talk about that scene. Goodness gracious. So pretty much we just see Mary and Angie, they worked out. Then Bronwyn talks to her mom in the kitchen. She making something where she needs a whisk. She's going to apply to become a U.S. citizen because Bronwyn is not a U.S. citizen. She was born in Brazil and her parents are from the U.K. So she has dual citizenship with Brazil and the UK. She's looking forward to jury duty and all that. Heather is at home with her daughters, showing them her new office, which she has furnished by Wayfair. So they got a sponsorship with the Housewives. Okay. Lisa and Meredith go to the nail salon. Meredith was shocked by Heather being the judge and the jury, but her biggest problem was with Whitney, with her judgy self. Child, Meredith, no, your biggest problem is with yourself. Lisa talked to Brittany. Meredith was like, oh, yeah? So what happened? Lisa does not feel like she did anything, no matter how Brittany feels. Because Brittany feels like Lisa is just as at fault as Meredith. Lisa feels like she was being supportive of Brittany. Lisa tells Meredith that she feels bad that Brittany's feelings were hurt. Meredith is sorry for her. She will be the bigger person and feel like they can move on separately. She feels like Brittany is a sad case. Lisa wants them to talk. Meredith agrees. So she's like, okay, cool. So Whitney helps Heather move a 20-year-old marital mattress from her new house. 20 years old. This is the marital mattress with the kid's father. And she's been divorced about 10 years. And I'm like, Heather, you don't know that you're supposed to change your mattress like every 7 years? Not that anybody does, and I believe my mattress is about 5 years old. Yeah, we got that one in 2020. Yeah, my mattress is 5 years old. Why did you move that mattress from your old house to this new house? And why are you and Whitney moving it by yourselves with a U-Haul and you got on a whole suit and heels like you going to a funeral? Well, she was having a funeral for the mattress. Okay. Brittany goes to therapy with her daughter. They didn't know where to begin. So the daughter says, things were good until my mom divorced my dad. She remarried quickly and he was her whole world. So we were not her priority anymore. She was a mother to her stepkids, not to us. So we moved to our dad's house and we didn't hear from my mom for 7 years. Olivia still wants a relationship with Brittany, but she feels like she'll get hurt again. Brittany doesn't feel worthy of Olivia's love. Her daughter doesn't feel lovable. They got things to work out. Brittany needs to work on forgiving herself so she can move forward, and they will get there with this therapist. Great. Bronwyn is with her daughter and her mom. They're hanging out, and they both pretty much tell Bronwyn that they're ready to leave the nest. Her daughter Gwen, she's so cute. She's ready to flee and move to Portland just to see what it's about. Child, Bronwyn is falling apart. She mad. She don't want them to leave her alone. I said alone? You have time. What do you mean alone? You lived with him last year before. Well, I guess Gwen always been there, right? But it was like, okay. So the mom is like, yeah, I need to get my own space too. So Bronwyn was like, oh, what did Todd say something to you? Let me know because I can put him out. And so the mom was like, I think he gonna put you out. And so then Bronwyn was like, don't threaten me with a good time. So is there trouble in paradise? Child, are they headed towards Candy and Toddville? What's happening? Huh? Uh. So her mom, she's like, I need to get my own space. You can come visit. Don't trip. Bronwyn is crying because she's like, I don't want to be alone. I like it with y'all. Like y'all my life. I know you my world. You my world. So that was that. Gwen is like, I'm going to Portland. Yeah. So Meredith called Brittany to meet up. So they meet. So Meredith tells Brittany, sorry that you heard me talking to Lisa on the plane. Wrong place, wrong time. I feel terribly that I hurt your feelings. I try to treat people with kindness and respect, but it hasn't been an easy path for us. It's been difficult. So hopefully we can move forward and treat each other with kindness and respect. Brittany is sitting there, can't talk. She a little traumatized, but she wants to forgive Meredith because she's trying to forgive herself and wants her daughter to forgive her too. So she wants to work on her forgiveness. And she admits to Meredith that she was being shady for bringing up the TikTok, about, I don't know why they calling it TikTok instead of the rumor that she said about her and her marriage. And so she said, I know that I trigged you. And so Meredith was like, no, what was more triggering was that you acted like you was gonna be my friend and you tried to hurt me on purpose. And so she thanked Brittany for apologizing, and they agreed to be civil and take baby steps, trying to become friends. And that was the end of the episode, besties. It was pretty good. Next week seems like it's gonna be gooder. But this was not kind of fillerish, but not really because we did get some things resolved. So it was one of the weaker episodes. We haven't had but it's okay because they always attend. They always a home run, a touchdown, right? So this was okay. Wasn't bad, but it was, whatever. It was kind of a little boring, just a little boring. But besties, that was the end of the episode. Hey, it is Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving. I want to wish everyone, besties that are listening to me, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful, be grateful. You are blessed. If you have family and friends, eat good again, eat good again on Friday. But after Saturday, don't you eat that food no more. Oh, besties. Okay, I guess I'll be back. What is the next recap? It seems like I'm not even getting a break because OC is off. So Friday, we know nope. Okay, so I guess my next recap will be Love and Marriage Huntsville Saturday night. Now wait a minute. Yep, I'll do it on Saturday night. I'll have plans all weekend, y'all. I got plans Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, and Tuesday. So I got you. I got you because it's gonna be light. We got Love and Marriage Huntsville on Saturday, and we got Real Housewives of Potomac on Sunday. And guess what? Married to Medicine starts on Sunday too. Child, to be honest, you'll get one on Sunday night, or you'll get both on Monday night. But besties, happy Thanksgiving. Bye, besties.